name's David Lyons. I've been on this property 6 years. It's about 30 acres just outside of Ennis, Montana. Standing next to a creek restoration project that we completed a couple years ago. When we first moved in, the creek was more like a ditch. It had been pushed into a ditch, and from what we could tell, the 1940s. Anytime a twig would fall or there was any kind of water fluctuation, it would spill over its banks. Obviously go out into the pastures, collecting debris, and then obviously come back in at some point, if not losing it to the ground saturation. The creek was a concern because it does run through the town of Ennis and eventually on into the Madison River. Between the NRCS and the Conservation District, they were able to come to us with some ideas and work together and make it happen.
One of the biggest strategies that was used in this stream project was kind of a combination of both addressing some of the areas that were impacting the stream, as well as rebuilding of the channel to address the altered stream channel that was done in the 40s or 50s.
I think we had the project done within about a month of actual dirt work, and then another month of fencing and planting and seeding and irrigating to try to build the banks.
This area of Montana is known for having a pretty low precipitation rate, and so when you have tributary streams like this, they play a crucial role in the overall health of the valley. Landowners and agricultural operations are heavily dependent on these streams.
Doing a stream restoration with NRCS is important because part of our mission is improving our natural resources, including water. Having the tributaries healthy and functioning the way they should be ultimately affects the economy in this county.
NRCS was the primary partner on it. We had a number of volunteers. It was a broad range of different partners that helped to make this happen. It's right along the highway. It's really visible, and I think when people see something on a regular basis, they see how it evolves and they see how it kind of matures over time, it reinforces the value of these kind of restoration projects.
We came through and put in different trees and shrubs just for the bank stabilization and to give it some good habitat for the wildlife, which has definitely increased. A lot more deer cruising the banks and bedding and making it more of a home than passing through.
The diversity of plants is good for a whole host of different ecosystem functions. As it grows up, these species will grow up with it.
Being able to listen to it in the evenings, it sure is nice, and see it looking like it originally did versus a ditch. There were several other projects that we were able to tackle at the same time. We were doing a lot of flood irrigating in the pastures by putting in a pumping system, an underground system.
This one is a pod irrigation system. With this system, he can hook up a section of pods to a riser and irrigate, similar to how a wheel line would function. That opens up more water for other people to use for irrigation.
We had to remove a bunch of old fencing, so we were able to then re-fence in order to do some rotational grazing.
We worked with the landowner to use electric fence to split the pasture into smaller paddocks, and then we also installed permanent riparian fence to keep the livestock out of the stream restoration. His livestock isn't on this pasture for as long of a duration, allowing for the plants to restore themselves and eventually leading to deeper rooting depths, better plant health, and better soil health on this pasture.
Toward the end, we were able to work with them on a high tunnel, which we used to extend the life of our gardens and growing season.
Around here, you're probably going to increase your growing season by a week or two on either end, maybe gaining you 3 to 4 weeks of growing, which might get a tomato red. In this part of the world, you could get snow in June, July, August, you never know. It would protect your garden plants any time of the year.
We sell produce to the local grocery stores and restaurants. We do have some bees that we do a little bit with, and some chickens that we sell some eggs. I would 100% recommend the NRCS and any conservation district because the change is amazing. Without Sunny, it would have never happened. She's so thorough and so knowledgeable. The NRCS guys too. It was a team. It was a team effort.
Efforts like this are successful when you have patience and you have time. You have to be able to build a relationship with the people involved. That testimonial of how they have seen the improvements, that is what really sells conservation.
And I think benefited not only our property, but the whole stream, the river, the county, the town. It was just an overall win-win for everybody, I believe.